and let us all do we can to build a better future. AOC got her wish. AOC got her wish. She is now gloating about how Tucker Carlson was deplatformed. So first, let's play this video segment. We played it on yesterday's show, where AOC was calling for Tucker Carlson to be removed from Fox News and how he is inciting violence. I know this is AOC saying he's inciting violence. Here's her interview with Jen Psaki.
And do you think media organizations or social media platforms should be accountable for the role for being platforms for incitement?
I believe that when it comes to broadcast television like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence, very clearly incitement of violence. And that is the line that I think we have to be willing to contend with.
Now, again, I've made the statement before. But in regards to Tucker Carlson and everything that took place on January 6th, I don't recall him getting on his table, holding the American flag, screaming, "Let's get these bastards," and then running at the camera screaming. No. No, that didn't happen. And this whole idea of making January 6th into this end-all, be-all thing, it's not. I mean, let's face it. Yes, there was a lot of violence taking place on January 6th, but there was also another side of the story in which the Capitol Police let the people in the Capitol building. Now, again, for all intents and purposes, AOC was not in the building, but oh my goodness, she was traumatized. What, the shaman was standing where Mama Bear, Speaker of the House, was at? I mean, let's face it, January 6th wasn't the end of democracy. Democracy died quite some time ago in America. But here you have AOC gloating like a child with Tucker being deplatformed. And look, there's a lot of things I don't agree with in regards to Tucker Carlson. But the thing is, he had a lot of guests on his show who spoke truth to power. People like Tulsi Gabbard, Dr. Cornel West, Max Blumenthal, Matt Taibbi, Aaron Mate, Jimmy Dore, and so many others. Do you see anyone in mainstream media such as MSNBC or CNN having those people on their show? No. But here's AOC gloating on how deplatforming works. And I said on the show that the censorship is going to get worse. And when you have somebody like this running around screaming, they won, like an idiot, brace yourself.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad that the person that was arguably responsible for some of the largest, driving some of the most amounts of death threats and violent threats, not just to my office, but to plenty of people across the country.
I don't recall Tucker Carlson saying to his viewing audience, "You have to hurt Congress people." I don't recall that happening. Now, maybe she's making it up in her mind. Yes, there are bad people. There are crazy nutcases out there on the left and on the right. There are some crazy people out there. But, you know, again, she seems to be funneling more and more drama into this whole nightmare scenario.
I also kind of feel like I'm like waiting for the cutscene at the end of a Marvel movie after all the credits have rolled. And
I'm not a fan of Marvel, okay? They should have ended it with the end game. All right. They should have just ended it right there, right? All those cutscenes, all those waitings. Like, come on. AOC. This is real life, not a movie. Not a goddamn movie.
Like waiting for the cutscene at the end of a Marvel movie after all the credits have rolled. And then you see like the villain's like hand reemerge out to grip over like the end of a building or something. But deplatforming works.
No, it doesn't. I mean, when Trump was kicked off all social media, you think he just disappeared? No. He's running again in 2024, AOC. I know that might trigger a lot of the vote blue, no matter who, sycophants out there. But he's back. You think censoring anyone's going to make them go away or their supporters? No. No, it's just going to make things progressively worse. And the thing is, I do know for a fact that you yourself once told people to raise the ruckus, to challenge the system. But now here you are, standing in line with the Democratic establishment, all behind Hakeem Jeffries, and at one point, all behind Mama Bear Nancy Pelosi. Again, you're saying deplatforming works. Imagine someone with the same amount of power deplatforming people you like, AOC. You wouldn't want that to happen. Hey, AOC, are you going to share this opinion on TYT at all? I wonder. Or how about on the Jimmy Dore show? Wait. I got it. AOC, share this groundbreaking decision of deplatforming and how it works on the Joe Rogan podcast. 10 out of 10. That would be a life-changing episode.
And it is important. And there you go. Good things can happen.
Good things can happen. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Is censorship and deplatforming a good thing? Type 1 for yes. I trust the state. I am following orders. I like to follow orders, not question anything. Smart enough to run the machine, just dumb enough not to ask any questions. Always looking down. Type 1 if yes, I love it. Type 2 if like no. This is a terrible thing, Kit. It's god awful. This shouldn't happen, period. But it gets better. Because here's the thing. It's not only just AOC that's sharing this. But then you also have the likes of Marianne Williamson. Tucker Carlson's no hero, Robert Kennedy Jr. Which I have to say, Marianne, never forget, Tucker Carlson had so many groundbreaking guests on his show. I don't see anyone from Rachel Maddow to Brian Seltzer to Don Lemon, because I know Brian Seltzer and Don Lemon are gone from CNN, but when they were on CNN, do you think they would have a guest talk like this on their show?
We're the ones provoking this war, just like we provoked the war in Ukraine. We are now provoking a war with China. And who benefits? I'll tell you right now, your enemy is not China. Your enemy is not Russia. Your enemy is the military-industrial complex, which has been fleecing this country to the tunes of hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars. How many times are we going to have a defense secretary say, hey, we can't account for $2 trillion in the Pentagon again? Which is what happened twice now in my lifetime. So again, people are being the war machine cannot be stopped. Who's running this country? The war machine. It certainly isn't Joe Biden making these decisions. I would like to know who is making the decisions. And I just want to remind everybody, the United States is the world's terrorist. We just set the Middle East on fire in the last 20 years. And now we're doing a proxy war in Ukraine, which we provoked, NATO provoked, and it was just admitted that we provoked it by the former prime minister of Germany. And now we're trying to saber-rattle with China, and they're predicting a war. Again, China's not going to invade us. China's not our enemy. We might have an economic war. That's what these are. These are economic wars. These are wars in Ukraine. It's about liquefied natural gas and making sure Germany and Russia never come together, because we fear Russia's natural resources and manpower, and we fear them getting together with Germany with their technology and their capital. And so that's why we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's why we're doing the Ukraine war. This is all about hegemony, imperialism, and economics. And if there's a Marine somewhere, it's there because they're about to steal some natural resources from another country. As everybody's screaming about what a bad guy Putin is for invading Ukraine, the United States is currently occupying a third of Syria. And which third is that? It's the third that has the oil. And how do I know we're there to steal their oil? Because the president of the United States said so.
And we're not even benefiting economically. Of course, that's the rub. Jimmy Dore, appreciate it. Thank you.
You think Rachel Maddow's going to allow somebody like that to speak? Anyone from CNN, ABC, CBS? The answer is no. Now, look, there's a lot of things I don't agree with Tucker Carlson, but he brought on a lot of anti-war voices on his show. And I was speaking this with Larry Sharp on whether or not Fox can actually recover. I mean, it's not the first time Fox News got rid of one of their heavy hitters who had a very popular show. I mean, at one point, Bill O'Reilly, and then another point, Glenn Beck, very popular hosts on Fox News. But the thing was Tucker, though, his show was different. He had a lot of dissenting voices on his show. Probably a lot of people who he was interviewing, he didn't agree with a lot of their policies, but he let them speak. He let them share their perspective and enlighten his audience, the largest audience at the time. And yes, while Rachel Maddow and everyone else is tweeting, oh, check out my show, we're still here. Can they bring in the views? Can they bring in the eyeballs to pay attention to the crap that they're saying? Because I got to say something pretty controversial here. While Tucker Carlson's show was gaining more and more views, everyone else was suffering because they didn't have their orange Cheeto to sniff off of. That's right. Mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, Vote Blue No Matter Who crowd. Corporate media was suffering because they didn't have Trump. And while everyone seems to be doing a victory lap, including AOC, deplatforming works, okay, for a moment you have your win. I'll give that to you. But you just open up Pandora's box for everyone to be put on that chopping block. Hey, AOC, are you going to say anything about those 4 black socialists that are being made into public enemy #1 under the Biden-Harris administration? You know, I remember, aren't you like the big front card person for DSA and all these other progressive groups? It's kind of odd that you're awfully silent about that. You know who did speak about it, though? Tucker Carlson. Hell, even Glenn Beck spoke about it. So, look, Tucker's going to land on his feet. That's of that is to be certain. He's going to have his own show again. That's going to happen. No one cares, right? He's going to have a show again, and then AOC is probably going to once again get on her little soapbox and say, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you must censor and deplatform Tucker. Get rid of Joe Rogan, Spotify. Everyone, don't listen to Jimmy Dore. He's violent. People who scream for censorship have a narrow mind and are always one step forward to being authoritative, to being a tyrant themselves. How interesting it is to see that oh so fantastic bartender become the very thing that she told people she would never become, and she told people she wanted to be a one-term congresswoman. You know what this means, right? AOC is Nancy 2.0.